All right. And we're live. Okay, so let's continue the conversation. So you met Bradley Martin, Sarah Safari, and you said Bryce Hall too. I didn't see him in the photos. What was that about?
So my buddy and I came tonight. I don't know if you know him. He does day in the life of a university student at 3.5 feet tall. So I think he has 1 million followers on TikTok. So him and I went down to LA, and then I really wanted to go to zoo culture, and then we went there, and then Bradley Martin and Sarah Sapphire were like recording a video, and I was like freaking out. This is my first like celebrity that I've ever met, so I was like shaking, and then Sarah Safari and I started talking, and she like saw one of my videos, like the motorbike stuff. And then Caden and I both went up and started talking to them, and then we became like sort of like friends with them. And he let them use his Segway, and then they just like recorded a bunch of Snap content. And we were like, "Do you guys want to film tomorrow?" And then Bradley was like, "For sure." So then the next day we came back, and Caden and Bradley filmed together, and then Bradley like spotted me and stuff. Oh, that was crazy. That was a surreal experience. Yeah.
That's awesome though. And also another thing, it's just funny because when I saw them like on your story, I'm like, oh, like I guess they're collaborating, but it seems like it was just more like you guys accidentally met. But that's still pretty
Yeah.
cool though.
Yeah.
So do you guys still talk or
Not right now. When we go back to LA, we're gonna lift with them again. I think Caden and them. And then I got his. Well, I wanted to be a part of Raw Gear, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But I don't know where I want to take my content fully. But yeah, I still chat with some of the people I met down there. Um, but yeah, not them as much. No.
right? Yeah, and I mean, well, you're talking about you don't know where to take your content. Now, this seems like something that has been reoccurring with you. Because I remember when I first reached out to you too, you were like, I don't know, I gotta start doing stuff with my face first, then I'll do the
Yeah.
podcast. So what was that? Because like your content didn't start getting you didn't start making content, or at least from what I can see, until like because you have both a personal and then you have the main account.
Yeah.
The big account has like 349,000 followers, which is awesome for you. Congrats.
Nice.
Your personal has like 3.4 thousand,
Yeah.
but the main one has like content but not that much. Like it only goes
Yeah.
back a couple months, I would say. But then
Yeah.
all of a sudden the videos get like 26.4 million views. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and then another one, it's like 100,000, then it's like 8 million.
Yeah.
So where did this all start?
So I actually started making content like when I was a kid, like grade six. I always wanted the musically crown, or to be on like famous birthdays and stuff like that. And I always did like YouTube videos and like TikToks and all that through high school. And I think like a lot of the people, like I was talking to Jacob. I don't know Jacob Greer. I was talking to him about this, and I was like, we all had, or Bryce too. We all had that same like high school story. Whereas like, because I had like no friends in high school, and I was like a bit of like I was really skinny. I did nothing. I didn't have like anything going for me. I worked at McDonald's, and I've always been like a business person. I mean, I worked at McDonald's great, but I kind of just put my mind to things, and I always wanted to like make content and stuff. So I started like, if you see my personal account, and I have a personal TikTok, I used to like post edits and stuff of like where I've traveled. I wanted to be like a travel influencer, so I did content on my personal account for like a year and a half, and then I used that and like what I learned on. I actually have two accounts. My other one has like 43,000 followers, and then I first started that in October, and I grew it to 20,000 followers by December. And then I was like, I'll create the second account because I wanted to make a business out of my second account. But then my second account just like blew up. Well, not like blew up, but I gained like 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers in January. And then now I'm 9,000 away from 400,000 on that account. But yeah, that's how it all started.
So you mentioned about what's it called? Trying to think. Yeah, so the part where you started making content where you're young, right?
Yeah.
So I started this podcast like a little bit over a year ago. Like I technically 15, but it was like I'm 17 now, so it makes it sound like it was so much longer than it was, but I was
Yeah.
like about to turn 16. So it's really only been a year and like a couple months. But in either case, though, I mean, like, it does seem like a very common thing, especially nowadays where people start making content where they're kids.
Oh, yeah.
I have a friend of mine, his name is DJ, and he has 2 million followers on
Yeah.
TikTok. So he's a decently big creator. I think it's like 50,000 on Instagram. But yeah, no, he started when he was like 12. And he's like 20 something now. So he's always been going at it. But then when TikTok came out, he just really found his
Oh yeah, the niche
thing.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I had on another kid, well, and the one that I just told you about too, the guy Snook, who I have not released the interview yet with. But that's gonna be pretty baller. He's only 17. He's like 100,000 something on YouTube. And then the other kid that I had, he actually kind of dropped out. Like he's only going to school like an hour a day or 2 hours a day or something like that. His name is Wheelie Feed, and
Oh,
he
I
is
think I've
like,
seen him.
yeah, I had him on the show, and he's only like
He's a
17.
biker too, right?
What? What's up?
He does like the bike Instagram stuff, right?
Yes, yes, yeah,
Oh, that's pretty sick.
yeah. But it seems like a
Yeah.
common thing though. So I'm happy that you're now following this as like a passion. But why don't you make travel content though?
I had one video. It did all right. I think it got like 500,000 views, but I don't travel too much right now. I'm moving to LA for the summer, so like I'll record that more. But right now I'm just kind of like I have two businesses and then I got the social media stuff, so I'm just like working on making money before I go down there, and then try to build out, I guess, my personal brand more.
Well, what would you say that your brand is exactly?
I haven't fully like built it yet. I guess I'm working on it, like the personality wise and stuff like that. Like I have like 3 or 4 talking videos, and they're all decent. They got like 400,000 views, 200,000 views, and I'm pretty happy with those views. But I want it to be like more of my personality and more of me, which I'm kind of like shifting it more towards. Like in my recent video, I barely had like my bike in it and stuff like that. So I'm trying to make my bike a part of me, and then have me as like the main sense of like what I do and who I am, and kind of just like morph into more like skit content and trend content in that sense. But yeah,
I mean, what's it called? Do you? Well, that's interesting though, because are you making content when you make content? Are you doing it with the intention of I want to create this thing that I like, or I want to test the waters of how many numbers this thing can get?
it's a mix of both. It depends. Like content's really fun to do at the start, but I mean I can't really say much. I haven't been like doing this for a long time, but when you're posting every day, you kind of burn out in what ideas to post. And I know that like I know which videos will do like really bad for me and which videos will do decent for me. But I kind of like right now I'm kind of just like playing around with things and seeing what would work. I think I'm gonna move like my content towards like more storytelling things right now until I like. So I don't know. It's kind of, I want people to see my personality. So I guess I like dip my water and stuff. But I would dip my feet in the water. I guess. But yeah.
Do you have any like dream creators that you want to collaborate with? Because we are talking a little bit about this before.
Um, I wouldn't really know to be honest. I used to be really like, to be honest, all the people I met were the people that I like looked up to so much in a sense, and all the people that I'm like friends with now are like the the people I used to like watch every day in high school or something like that, which feels surreal still. Like I haven't like grasped that yet. But yeah, I'd say I don't know. It'd probably be like Bryce, and I was offered to make a like Tommy Yunus. I was talking with him, and he said there's like that he'd probably do a video with me, but I just have to figure out what video. And at the time, I couldn't think of like anything. So yeah.
Yeah, and I always ask this part too. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a bad habit of repeating questions where like I'll ask one guy something and then I'll ask another guy the same question. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but the main things that I would ask here now, like fan fans and stuff. Do you have people that notice you in public?
Oh yeah. A good amount. It's kind of a lot. A lot of them don't come up to me. Like, but I don't know. A good amount have, but I enjoy it. Like I was at a hockey game and I think 3 or 4 people noticed me and came up to me. And then like if in a mall or something, people say like, is that Isaac or something like that. And then it's not like a crazy amount. Like my friend Caden, whenever we go downtown with him, I think I was at a bar. I don't drink or anything. I haven't done any drugs in my life. I'm sober, but I was at a live music thing, and I think 5 people came up to me and they recognized me and they see me on stuff, which is pretty neat. And it feels like I get scared when people recognize me in a sense where like whenever someone screams my name, my heart just like starts pounding. You know, like I feel like I'm in trouble or something. So yeah,
That's a cool feeling, though. I mean,
yeah,
I don't
it
know what
is.
that's like, but like people always kind of have that as like either a usually a pretty surreal experience for a lot of
Yeah,
people. Same thing with
yeah,
meeting like people that you used to look up to, and I'm not going to talk about that again because I've talked that like a million times on the
yeah,
podcast. But what
yeah,
I will say is that when it comes to like advice, for example, that you would want to give creators that are like, for example, our age, because you're only 2 years older than me, which is kind of a
yeah.
funny thing. But you're only 2 years older than me. So what advice would you give somebody that is trying to start their own content?
I'd say, well, actually, on this, I helped like 5 of my friends, like grow their, well, not grow, but like last week, I helped my buddy. Like I met him like 2 weeks ago. And it's been 10 days, and I got him to like 15,000 followers on Instagram. And then one of my other buddies, in like a month, I got him to 20,000. And in a sense of this, it's every app favors consistency, and that be Snapchat, Instagram, anything like that. But the thing a lot of people do is they put too much effort into the videos, and that's what I really like. I don't know everything about like the algorithm and stuff like that. Obviously, there's a lot better people out there for me. But what I noticed is that when like I used to do like hardcore edit videos where like try to keep retention, all this stuff, and it would get like 1,000, 2,000 views max. But my first video that went viral, it literally took me a minute to film and edit, and I just put 2 words on the screen. So like simplicity gets pushed out so much more than anything else. I know this. So I'd say that the biggest advice is like being efficient and like constantly uploading, I guess, like once a day, once every second day, and then keeping things simple.
Yeah, how well can a person like I guess keep up? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was gonna say that when it came to your most viewed video, though, speaking of like the videos that went viral and stuff, your most viewed video I think has 26.8 million views.
Yeah.
So what happened there? Because like it seems like your videos up until then, I was even looking at it right now. I'm gonna check it again. But when it came to, because this is on your main account, which I don't have DMs with you on, so it's gonna take a second to find it. But okay, so yeah, so you have like only a handful of reels, but in the beginning, it's a couple 100,000, and then a couple 100,000. Then you get 7.1 million views. Then immediately after the 7.1 million views video, you get 26.8 million views, and that's a lot of people, right? Like, that's like a very very big number. So
Yeah.
what happened?
Um, I wouldn't say exactly no, but I noticed that people like the curiosity of it really got to people. And then the hook at the end added like my physique and stuff, and that made people rewatch. That's what I think. But I wouldn't really know. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I also want to ask about is I never really, I kind of wish I would ask this question more. And this is going back to the fan interaction things, but with DMs, right, and messages. So I can tell you're smiling because it's such a huge amount, I'm imagining.
Oh yeah, no, it's nuts. And they're all like, I get some crazy DMs, man. They're funny. They're fun to read. Like whenever I'm bored, I'll just go through them, and I get some like wild stuff. It's
Like
nuts.
what? Like what do people message you?
They say some really out of pocket thing. It was like it's mainly girls, so my demographic is like 80% women or 85. So it's like I've had some crazy ones. It's just all this like sexual stuff. It's like a mix of that, or it's like the most common one I get is that like teach me how to ride, and then like in brackets they'll put not the bike, but yeah, it's like stuff like that.
I mean, I was gonna make a joke, but you know, you're actually the first person I think that I've spoken to because I think I have the inverse audience of what you have. Because if you're saying 85% women, I think my audience is like 75% men,
Yeah,
right? So you're the first person I think I've met where the majority of their audience is actually girls, and that's an, and when, like, are you talking from DMs and like interactions and
Well,
who you
followers,
assume,
yeah,
or are you talking about
followers.
analytics?
Analytic wise, it's like 85% girls, 15% men, and the girls mainly like I get like 95% women DMing me, and then 5% dudes. That's
Have
this is kind
you
of
my okay? So you don't have to answer this, but have you ever followed up with one of the girls that have DM'd?
like in person or
Anything, like, have you ever like followed up with that, like, hey, yeah, maybe you could go grab drinks or something, like, more usually more the tame ones I would assume, but
yeah, not really. No, I DM like I never DM like in like a way that's outside of platonic, in a sense, I guess. But when I first started it, there's actually like one girl. Um, it was like I actually kind of I was just gonna say like if I could help them make like money in a sense because I've been investing for like 5 years, and this was like some OnlyFans chick. I wouldn't do anything this OnlyFans girl, but I've had a good amount of OnlyFans models DM me, and this one was making like an absurd amount a month, but she doesn't know how to like invest anything. So I was like, I'll help you for like a portion of the profit, but I never got outside of that. But
I mean, well, that's interesting. I don't know, because this is like, because you're more of like, okay, I want to gather my thoughts here and just because otherwise I'm going to talk for like 5 minutes about nothing. So when it comes to those DMs, right? You're saying you're getting like hundreds of thousands of DMs a day. I'm exaggerating, but do you ever like, okay, like for me, for example, what made you follow up with my DM as compared to like somebody else that might have wanted to collaborate with you? Was it just because I messaged you on the smaller account, or
oh, hold up, something's saying stop. I just had something pop up, but I just kind of found it interesting. But like the past like 3 months have been the most busy of my life. Even right now, I'm like I'm doing a school assignment, but taking a nice break from that. But and I don't really know. Usually, like every DM I get is usually just like I mean I enjoy the DMs. I love my fans so much. It was outside of the norm because like I don't get a lot of dudes DMing me like ever. I get a little bit, but it was something that like I wanted to be on a podcast. And I think that'd be kind of fun. So it was kind of just mainly that,
why not go on Raw Talk with Bradley Martin?
yeah. I wish, man. Who knows? Maybe I'll be there in the summer. See if that happens. But
Yeah,
I'm not crazy interesting. Well, and not yet. Well, I kind of am, but it's like I wouldn't provide like if I think of it in a way of like who he brings on the podcast, I wouldn't like me with 400,000 followers would be nothing next to like Sketch or someone who like controls the internet right now.
that could be a cool collab with you. Collab with
Oh
Sketch.
yeah,
He's been doing a
yeah.
lot of sports collabs, so
Oh yeah, and he got with Bradley, and then he was with Bryce yesterday.
yeah. Well, one thing I never really talk about is people that I've tried bringing on the podcast, and this is relative to what you're saying, but it's people that I've tried bringing on that have actually responded to me. Now, I can't say all of them for I mainly just because I don't want to like put them on the spot and be like, oh my gosh, this person, like, why didn't you do it? Because it's a lot more simple than that. Usually they'll agree and then they'll be kind of busy, or they'll agree and then something will come up and they just can't. Whatever.
Yeah.
One of the more interesting ones that I've actually had DMs with was Matan. The kid, the Bill Clinton kid.
No, how do you spell it?
Matan Evanoff. He does like he does like he's kind of like a troll in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about? Long hair. He kind of messes with like big YouTubers and stuff. You
Oh
know,
yeah, I know him. I like that guy. Yeah, he's
yeah,
cool.
no, he's only a year younger than me too. So but yeah, no,
But he's smart. He's so smart.
yeah, no, because I spoke to him on Discord actually, which is kind of funny. I'm like, hey, would you be down to come on? And he's like, look, man, I'm sorry, I have to pass right now, but you know, whatever. I don't really. It is what it is. But he was one of the more interesting people that I've DM'd. But he was on Bradley's like show, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he was on Aiden's too, I think. He's cool. He's smart. He's a smart kid.
Very smart
He's
kid.
doing
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah. Well, I would say just reach out to Brad and just be like, hey, bro, like, we should make a video sometime.
Yeah, I DM'd Sarah, but we'll see what happens. Um, I'm very excited for the summer. In the summer, I'm going to be down there. I think for like a month and a half. I'm just gonna be training boxing. So when I was at Bryce's house, we were playing poker, and then his trainer was asking if I want to like train with them this summer. Like train with them. So I'm excited to go down there and do that with them. So I think I want to get more into boxing and make that part of my niche. So down here, I've just been training, and then I'll go train with his trainer, and then see. I mean, who knows? I kind of want to get into like the influencer boxing stuff because I boxed for 2 years and then I wrestled for quite a long time. So I've always been like into fighting and things, and I want to make that a part of my personality or like my online persona, I guess, because it is a part of me and I enjoy doing that stuff a lot. Because I love biking, but just posting biking and me is kind of I don't know. I want to branch out a bit more.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I highly recommend that you do. I hope that you do, and I hope it goes well for you.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, well, with let me ask you this: are you signed to any type of a management agency as of yet, and do you want to?
I don't want to get no. I was saying the only thing I do is like an agency, but I wouldn't need management right now. No, just agency. But I think I might wait on that for now because I can do my own brand deals in a sense. Because I've done one or two. Well, the second one's coming up, but like I'm good with the money and I don't want to give away like I guess profits yet. But in like when I hit like 500,000 followers or somewhere around there, I think I'll be looking for an agency.
Well, if I could ask, why would you need an agency, right? And the only reason I'm asking that is because I know people that like they end up getting management and it kind of controls their lives
Yeah.
in a way.
So the difference between management and agency, I was told, I don't know, Tommy was telling Kate and I about this, is that we don't really need management over our account. You just need a agency. So what agencies do is they get you like brand deals and stuff because they have connections. So Caden signed with, I forgot what it's called, but he's in a really good agency right now, and he gets like a good amount of brand deals from them. So what you do is you set a baseline amount of how much you're going to charge, and then above that baseline, the that your agency like negotiates with the brand deal business. They keep 50% of the profits. So say Caden is his baseline is like I won't say his baseline, but like hypothetically it's like 5,000 USD, and he gets like a 10,000 USD deal. Then the agency profits 2,500 USD, and then he gets a surplus of 2,500 USD. So it's kind of just like gives you more opportunity to make money through online.
Yeah. So, well, one thing I will say is that if what or not, I should ask if you're gonna get a manager, right? Or like, what do you mean? Like they're different, I guess, right? Like an agency
Yeah,
versus management, because they're kind of interchangeable to me.
yeah. I don't know, I was just told they're a bit different in the sense of like management kind of controls what you do, and agencies kind of just like get the word out and make profit for you.
Yeah, well, I hope that goes well as well. So if it comes to getting a manager, you're probably never going to get a manager, or you just don't want a manager, or
I mean, if I grow or no, we'll see. When I'm at like, say I get like to a million, 2 million followers, then I'll probably get a manager in a sense of like, so I can just focus mainly on content, like how like Bradley and all them do it. But yeah, when I'm making like a lot of money from it, then I'll switch to that.
would you ever collaborate with Aiden Ross?
Oh yeah, that'd be sick. Aiden Ross would be neat.
Would you ever collaborate with like, I don't know, like just any big like
Like
streamers, for
Neon or
example?
something like that.
No, not Neon, not
Yeah,
Neon. I don't know,
I
because
feel like
like he's kind of always like in trouble for something. I don't
yeah,
really keep up with YouTube drama, even though
yeah.
almost every other interview I do is interviewing like somebody like you with like hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't keep up with drama. right? That's the one thing I refuse to do. So I
Yeah,
don't know why he's always getting in trouble, but
yeah,
it's just always something like, "Did you hear about what he did?" No, I didn't, and I don't really
yeah.
need to.
He's like arrested. He got arrested right now. But yeah, I'm excited because in the summer he trains with the trainer that I'm going to be training with. So I'd be meeting him, and that'd be. I think it'd be like I have a feeling that his whole thing's like a persona because a lot of people what they do is like they put on a persona, right? Or they like increase their personality because like that's what gets people like views and stuff like sketch and like like Steve will do it. Like his is kind of just like enhanced of what he actually is. I mean, everyone does that. So I have a feeling that his is just like a whole persona on what he is and who he is.
Probably is. I don't know. I mean, like I do meet people that are pretty different in person and in private than they are on their channels and stuff like
Uh,
that. And it's never like an enormous difference. Like I don't think I've ever met anybody. Maybe I don't feel like I've ever met anybody that was just this drastic difference to a point where it's like you're
on
like
and
this
off.
person is nothing like this. Like it's not. I don't ever meet
Yeah.
like a full character. Though I have met people where it's like you talk to them and they're just maybe like more quiet in
Yeah,
public.
the one person I met who was like the character because I was at Danny, Danny Duncan's house. I was at his.
Yes, I definitely know Danny Duncan.
Yeah, and I was at his place, and he's exactly like he is on camera. He's a pretty cool. I like him. He's a good guy. But I mean, he let me try a feastable, which is pretty neat. That's my first time having a feastable. And then I don't know. We kind of it was kind of awkward at his house because Kate and I we just showed up and we had like nothing to film. Like we had nothing. We just kind of went there to say hi for like an hour or 2 hours. It was
How did you
pretty
meet
neat.
Danny? Like what's the story behind that? That's interesting.
Um, so Kate and I were in West Hollywood, and we were supposed to link with him, but he got like sick. And then I was talking to Sarah, and Sarah and Danny are like really close friends. So they're talking, and I think honestly, like I think she was like just like link up with them. But maybe just Danny wanted to say hi to us. But he was a cool guy. I really liked him. And then he like called Cade, and then he was like pull up. So like we went to his house for a bit and got to meet him. And he's smart. He's so smart. Like honestly, like I think like he's up there like business wise with Mr. Beast 100%. Like his two businesses like or his two businesses that he's running with like the clothing brand and then his upcoming Metador, which is like the energy drink stuff. Smart man.
Do you have you met Mr. Beast as of
No,
yet?
not yet. No, I want.
Have you
I,
Yeah,
I would like to meet him. Yeah.
right. And speaking about business, where do you see yourself in like the next 5 years going with everything that you're doing right now?
Um, I have goals, right? So like successful, I'd say. I I've done online businesses. I kind of like I'm gonna keep like honing my skills with that, both like the aspect of like being able to reach 100 million people in like 3 months. I see myself being like I don't I don't want to continue. No, not want to. I'm not going to continue university, so I'm taking a year off, and I kind of just gonna trust myself in making content, making money. But I see myself with my dream car and a G wagon. Yeah.
Your dream car is a G-Wagon?
Well, I wouldn't say like I don't know. First car I'm gonna get is the G wagon, and then an M2. But my dream car is the Porsche GT3 RS, which is a bit basic, but
So are you into cars or are you only into bikes?
I'm into cars. Yeah, I'm into bikes too, but I don't want to be riding my bike forever because of like the dangerous aspect of it. So
Do you do you plan on going on because like what I'm doing with you right now, like again, you said it was the first one that you've ever done, which I told you before also makes me feel really cool because when people tell me that this is the first interview they're done, I'm like, I hope it's good because I want you to do other ones. So do
yeah.
you have plans to go on any shows like at all?
Oh, so my friend Gary, if you might know him as Loud 24V. So, I'm close with him. I say yeah, no, pretty close. I'm close with Gary, and my friend group's kind of like I have two really close friends, and that's like in Victoria, Caden and Gary. And he did the day one of hitting a vehicle until I have 500,000 followers or I'm arrested. I don't know if you saw that. He got like 300 million views in like less than a week or something like that. And then, so you know, Baby No Money.
I've heard the name before. Yeah.
So I didn't get to meet him, but he brought Caden down for a music video, and he really liked Caden and Gary. So we're all going to be doing like a podcast, and we're planning to bring him down to Vancouver Island and do a podcast with him there. So I think that'd be really cool. I've never met him. I don't know if I'll be in the podcast or not, but if I'm down there, I'd probably be on it, which would be pretty cool. That he was actually the first artist I ever listened to. But
Wait, so are you guys starting one, or are you just going to do one?
Gary's starting one. I think Caden will just be on it.
That's good. And are you going to be like a co-host then of the show?
I think I'd just be oh shoot my phone. I think I'd just be a, like not a co-host. I'd be just like someone on there, just to bring it more views and stuff, and just be a part of it. I guess, which would be pretty cool.
Kind of like you know, Full Send, like Nelk.
Oh yeah, their thing's nuts, man. They're
Yeah.
pretty
Well,
cool.
they get some really big interviews, which
Oh yeah,
is I like their show just because they get big interviews. I don't even care what they're saying. They could be talking about like bananas for all I care. Like
yeah.
it's a good show because they get big guests.
Oh
But
yeah,
with that, they have on people like Brad, for example, which you know people kind of consider him a co-host, even though he's technically not even part of Nelk, and he'll even say that himself. He's like, I'm not part of it, whatever.
yeah.
Or you know, they'll have guys on just to have them on. But do you feel like that's like what you're gonna be with that, like the Bradley of the group?
Potentially, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see how it unfolds fully, but potentially that group is smart. They're like, um, I remember I didn't really like. I saw clips. You know, Steamy or Steiny. It's not Steamy, Steiny. Oh shit,
Yeah,
he's
I
like
do know
right by me.
Steiny.
So when I was in LA and at Zoo Culture, I bumped into Steiny, and he was like the nicest, most chill dude I ever met in my life. And what I noticed is like he's in a sense, he was kind of like how I was. Like he's so funny, man. Like I think on the stream, he kind of plays a bit of a persona because I thought he was gonna be like a dick or something, but he was like the nicest dude. Like all the dudes down there, I thought they'd be like really or have like a high ego, but I think like when I was with Tommy and like Bryson, I think like that was the nicest I've ever been treated in my life. So it was like definitely an experience that I'm gonna be like more part of. And I'm excited to like be in the space of people that are like minded and have like the same like growth and grow up as me. Because I think really smart people, really nice people.
What's your end goal with like everything though that you're doing? I know that's like a really big and long
Yeah.
term thing, but like, you know, what's the what is your end goal? Like, do you want to get like because obviously there's like the little goals like 100,000, 200,000, whatever, but then like there's the end goals like for some people where it's like you get 10 million and then you do something else, or you get 20 million and then you do this, or like where do you see that the biggest the goalpost, like the super duper top of the hill being?
Um, I wouldn't know. I'd say get to like where Bryce is with his content, especially on Instagram, and how he does his things and how Tommy does his things, because they just kind of do like they do skits which are really funny, and they already built like their brand identity around it, so they can post those. But I think like I want to get to like where, or I'm gonna get to where they're at. That's just my goal in a sense.
Do you ever plan on actually, I'm going to ask this question first. Where are you based right now? I don't know if you said exactly where you are.
I'm from Yukon, Canada, so like I don't know if you're in Canada or not, but it's right next to Alaska. If you know where Alaska is, it's like
Yeah,
Arctic
I'm from the
Circle.
States. So,
Okay, yeah, so right next to Alaska, so up in the north.
yeah. Well, I'm in New Jersey, and that's pretty close to Canada. It's not. It's I think only like a couple hours away from Canada. I don't know how far Yukon is though. But
Yeah, that's far.
yeah. Do you ever Okay, how is it in Canada? That's another thing I would ask. How's it in Canada?
Where I am right now, it's really cold. I think Yukon is actually marked for the coldest place on Earth once because it hit like negative 65 or something like that, which is I don't know what that is in like the States, but it was like it's freezing. So it's nice here. It's just a really small town, and especially here, and it's I don't really like the Yukon's nice, but the people here I don't know. Whenever people go outside of the norm, most people don't like it. And well, I wouldn't say don't like it. It was just like you gotta watch who you're friends with here, I guess. Gotta be around people who's I mean that's with anywhere too. Just people who are like you and do stuff.
Well, you're gonna move to LA, which kind of feels like the polar opposite to
Yeah.
Canada as a whole. So,
Boy, I'm excited for that.
do you see yourself becoming like what would you call yourself, I guess, to somebody that doesn't know you? If somebody's like, "Hey, Isaac, what do you want to do when the next like what are you doing as a career?" Do you call yourself an influencer, a content creator, a motorcyclist, a stunt guy, a bodybuilder? Like there's so many things that you could apply to, but what would you call yourself?
I'd say right now like influencer, but like that's not the only thing I do. Like I make a bit of money from Instagram and stuff like that. But I'd say just like I like the business aspect of things. Like I love running businesses and making businesses. So I'd say like an influencer or like just a person in business.
Do you have any let's go. When okay, here's something else I want to go back to. When fans meet you, right? Do you have any like advice of like how you would want them to approach you?
Um, a big thing is what I don't like. I just want people to some they just like take photos of me, and I noticed this with Caden. A lot of people do it with Caden, and they like try to secretly do it. But the thing is, like, you always see people do. It's like a sixth sense. I don't even know what it is. Like I think I was walking one day, and like I just felt that someone was taking. Like I looked over and they're taking a photo of me. So I should just like I love it when people come up to me and like say hi or something like that. And I'd rather people just do that than just be like, "Oh, is that like just take a random photo or something like that?" Like I'll take photos with anyone, but I'd rather not have them when I'm not like paying attention and just walking around. But I mean, either way, like I'm fine with either. But I'd prefer like interacting with people.
One thing I know that a lot of people have a problem with when it comes to meetings, and I've never understood this, but people always talk about when they're eating, right? When they're at with their whoever, when they're just eating food at a restaurant or whatever, and somebody comes up to them, like a fan is like, "Oh, can I get a photo with you?" Their response is always like, "No, like I'm eating," and they're very like upset about it. But for me, I don't know. Like if somebody was to come up to me and say like, "Hey, can I take a photo with you while I was eating with a friend or whatever?" I probably wouldn't care that much. But like, I don't know if that's a person to person thing or if that's like more rude to, or if I just don't see it. If I'm just like the
Yeah.
anomaly.
It depends where you're at, to be honest. If you're at a fancy restaurant or like enjoying yourself there and people come up, I'd still take a photo, but I feel like it's a bit like it ruins the experience in a sense. I mean, it doesn't really. Like, I'm fine with anything. But if it's like a fast food place, 100%, like, it doesn't. I wouldn't care at all. Same as Kate, he wouldn't care at all. But another thing is, my phone was at 4%, so I'm hoping it will stay alive for a bit longer. But if I randomly hang up, that's why.
All right. Well, I mean, in that case, I'm probably gonna end the recording now, and we'll just talk like
Yeah,
for a minute or two after the show. All right.
yeah, for sure.
Any final words to the audience?
Um, I should just like stay consistent if any of you guys are doing content creation because it does pay off and you get rewarded with consistency, and you constantly build and learn. So just keep going.
All right. Sounds good, man. All right. I'm gonna stop the recording now. We'll talk for like a minute after the show. All right.